Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Look Back podcast. I am Sam Holtz, joined as always by lovely Madi Kroll. This is brought to you by drroto.com. Get your daily prescription of fantasy sports. Madi, it is recovery day after the Super Bowl. I feel like everyone, at least at my work, was running a half beat slower than normal. I think a lot of people had a really good time celebrating. I'm hoping you did as well. Did you enjoy the day?
I did. Fully regretted it today.
Love it. I know that when we picked our teams, you picked the Bengals and I picked the Rams. I wanted the Bengals to win. I just felt like the Rams would pull out the win. I mean, when you look back at the game overall as a whole, were you satisfied with the level of play that we got? Because I felt pretty happy with the way that both teams played.
I did. There were some moments where I was like, come on. But it was a great game. It really was. It was a lot better of a game than people expected.
Definitely. I feel like, because I wanted just a good game, every time there was a score or a change of pace, I was cheering on both sides of the ball. So I was excited no matter what was happening. And I wanted it to be a close game. And it was a very close game. I love that there was lead changes in there. And it really felt like Burrow was on track to just pull off a crazy come from behind victory at the end. But then obviously he was smited by the amazing Aaron Donald in that final sack of the game, which I felt like was very poetic, that he had the final play that just like put the pin in it.
It was so poetic. I will say that was the one thing that I was super disappointed by, because I think Cooper Kupp is absolutely amazing, but Aaron Donald, I mean, come on. He was the game changer. He really was.
I think if Cooper Kupp hadn't had 2 touchdowns, if he had just 1 touchdown, then I think there would have been a switch, and I think that Aaron Donald would have gotten the MVP. I feel like he deserved it. He really changed the pace for the Rams, who seemed to miss a step as soon as Odell Beckham went down with an injury. Didn't it feel like that?
That's what was wild. I was like, is OBJ really this important to the success of the Rams offense?
Yeah,
it sure seemed like it, at least for a little bit. But no, I definitely agree. I feel like Aaron Donald completely changed up the makeup, the way they had to game plan for him. I mean, he was drawing double, triple teams the entire game.
Yeah. Danger joining us saying that Donald is the real MVP. #facts. Definitely agree with you there. I mean, I feel like the first half, the Bengals need to be applauded for how they went about trying to bottle up Aaron Donald, because they really threw everything at him that they could. But it felt like the second half, they were just gassed, which arguably anyone would be, having to fight off Aaron Donald the entire game. But they just got outplayed.
Right. And I mean, you can kind of see they started blocking down more with the secondary and everything else. And that's where Burrow was getting the ball off so fast the first half.
Yeah.
And then we started to see that kind of decline when some options were taken away. And then,
except for third quarter, they come right back from halftime and he scores right off the bat, which I kind of loved.
There was a little bit of a face mask there, but same. Was that 75 yards? I would much rather them just let them play. Like, I was okay with the officiating really the whole first half. Like, they weren't calling the silly things, which was nice.
Yeah.
Second half got a little questionable, but
yeah, like you can't go not calling anything the entire game and then the last 2 minutes call everything. Like, that gets a bit much. Bo joining us. What up, Bo? Thank you for tuning in.
What up, Bo? Man, Bo, every time I think that I have great food going on, you just really make me question myself. He has the best food, always. Yeah. What up, Will?
Will's joining us. Really appreciate you, Will Jenkins, as always, tuning in. Yeah, I just felt like you can't contain Aaron Donald. It's just the amount of manpower that it took to bottle him up the entire game, and the fact that when he was able to break away, he was game-changing in every play that he was able to do that. I mean, I'm sure that you saw this tackle, and I'm forgetting which quarter it was in, but he was pulled down, halfway down by a a Bengals player, and he turned and then one arm tackled Burrow at the same time. So like
Yep.
while being
That's why you have to finish, offensive lineman. That's why you have to finish.
Yes, it was just a beautiful tackle that just looked like he just grew an extra arm and then just like took down this other guy, and it was a beautiful play.
You know what was impressive to me is, I mean, Von Miller is obviously incredibly respected, right?
Yeah.
I sat there and watched Von Miller throw out Aaron Donald moves, and I was like, you are adapting, you're growing. That's insane to me. I mean, I guess that's what we expect, but you don't always see that with veteran players to come in and learn and grow like that. So
yeah, you kind of expect them to come in doing the same thing that they've been doing, and that should be enough. But I really feel like this Rams defense, they just throughout the year have stepped it up in different ways of growing and adapting to each other as well. And I think that they all know their strengths. And I think that, Von Miller seeing Aaron Donald's strengths, he knew he had to step it up. He couldn't bring the same game he's been bringing for years.
Right. I think that the Bengals defense just came out to play too, because they did a great job.
They did.
Like there's a couple of times where obviously some things were broken, but they had a really good plan coming into this game.
Absolutely. I think that when you look back at the way both teams played, but especially the way the Bengals played, I mean, I don't sit back and think that they didn't deserve to be there. Like that's not the way that I look at how they played. Like they were so close the entire time. And it was just a couple little missteps that had one thing gone slightly the other way. It could have been them with the victory. And to me, that means that they not only deserve to be there, but they're going to be here again next year. They're going to be fully in the running. I fully expect them to be in playoffs. Like Burrow is taking that team to another level.
I agree. Are we going to talk about the decision? Not once, but twice. 4th and short to give P. Ryan the ball versus Joe Mixon.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, right?
Like, okay, the first time, all right, it was early in the game. Was it first quarter?
Yeah.
But then to run it late in the game after we just watched him get stuffed, and they were starting to stuff the line. Like, let's do something a little different.
Like, why wouldn't you put the ball in Burrow's hands to get it out? Like, the entire season, he's been able to save you on so many other plays. Like 3rd and plus 20, he's been able to save you with his crazy arm. Why wouldn't you let him do that in this situation? That didn't make sense.
Yeah, and bring in those running backs if you need them, and get yourself some extra protection.
I feel like both teams had these moments though where they kind of switched the game script, and it was like, did you forget who you have
McVay
playing?
did not call a good game. He did not. I got into 2 fights last night at the Super Bowl party, and I was like, okay, first of all, don't come at me until you can tell me what defense they're lined up in.
I love it.
Please.
Yes.
And also, my whole thing with Collinsworth is a whole other thing, but I was shit talking them. And they're like, he's right. And I was like, no, he's not. First of all, like, if we want to break this down, that's fine, but we're not going to do it right now because I'm trying to enjoy the game. Anyways, I got into a fight a couple times, and I was just like, McVay looks like he's not having a good time.
Yeah.
You could tell he was a little checked out. And to be checked out whenever you are in the Super Bowl is wild to me. But he did not have a great play calling game. He just didn't.
No, and again, I think it kind of it doesn't all go back to this moment, but I really feel like that was a changing of the tide when Odell got hurt. And then it really felt like everyone was scrambling to try and right the ship, which was, they weren't down by 20 points. So it's not like they kind of,
but they were shaken by it.
They looked like they were down by 20. Like everyone looked shaken. And then to go and just run like so much when it's like, you have Cooper Kupp, right? Like he's still there. And he's going to get open. Like, are we going to avoid passing? Like,
well, that was my argument is going into this. Like I said last week, I was like, the Rams are going to have to run the ball a little bit because that's what's going to be open. We watched it when the Bengals played the Chiefs. That was what was open. And so I thought come out, run the ball. But the Bengals weren't playing him that way, and they were shutting him down. So at that point, you have to be adaptable and go to your guy, right?
Yeah. No, they were just collapsing on every running play. I mean, the Bengals defense did a great job of that. And for like some reason, I was like, okay, well, fool me once, shame on me or whatever, however the saying goes. But after so many plays of the same thing, why aren't we mixing this up? Like, Why aren't we passing?
I was impressed that the Bengals stepped up their third down defense. That was really promising. I'm excited for this Bengals team next year. I really am. I'm going to
Same.
order a Burrow jersey, and it's going to be a thing.
It's hard for me to order other teams' jerseys. Probably in my same division is a little bit hard. But I would love to get a Joe Burrow shirt. Like, I would rock the hell out of a Joe Burrow shirt. And there's a lot of cool ones that are like the Joe Cool, the Joe Shiesty, all the Joe fun
All
names.
the Joe ones.
So I would love to get myself one of those. Guys, if you see a shirt that you think should totally rock, please at me and let me know. And I will definitely buy it, because on the Burrow train for sure. How's Callaway?
Apparently, he's very angry at somebody. I'm not sure what's happening, but he's barking. So now he's in my lap. He's gotten like, have you ever been out to eat with like your mom when you were little and you get in trouble? And she's like kicking you under the table.
Yeah.
That's the look he just got. Like, you better hush it up, bud.
Oh, precious. All right, back to just overall how Stafford played. I mean, he had the interception. We knew that he was going to end up with an interception in this game. I felt like if Stafford had an interception, and he was sacked as well, I felt like if he had a couple of those things happen, that the Rams would lose, but they were able to pull it out. I mean, is it really on the back of Cooper Kupp, the entire thing, that saved him?
You know, what's crazy though is he was finding other guys to get open, and he wasn't just stuck on Cooper Kupp, which is nice. So I honestly think that Matthew Stafford had a good game. The 2 interceptions were not so great, but I mean, he didn't get down. He didn't go on, and he didn't let it ruin the game. I think that he did okay. I really did. I think that given another quarterback, it wouldn't have happened like that.
Yeah, I think that he was able to maintain a level of cool when it didn't seem like Sean McVay had a level of cool throughout the entire game. At least like he had his head on straight.
Right. And I will say, remember last week how we talked about like how Patrick Mahomes kept waiting for those long throws and was just giving the ball away because he was being selfish. He was being stingy and wanted something more. Stafford didn't do that. He took what was given to him. He was going through his progressions, and he made the right call multiple times. So,
yeah,
I have to give credit to where credit's due, because Stafford did a great job.
No, I definitely think overall he did a much better job than at least what I anticipated him to do in this game.
Me too.
I felt like Aaron Donald was going to have to save him, which he did in a lot of ways, but not to the level that I was thinking it would have.
What you were expecting? Same.
Yeah. No. And I'm disappointed, I know you are, that there was not a thick 6 in this game. I felt like there was a chance for one, but we didn't get it.
There was not a thick 6, and I felt like we could have had the opportunity. We had a running back throw a touchdown pass, but we did not have a thick 6.
I did love that. That was fun. I was like, I was cheering, and then to my friends, I'm like, I just want a safety. I just want something weird. Just give me something weird. I want a weird play. And then I got one with the running back throwing a touchdown.
You wanted something exciting. Yeah. I was excited because I watched Mixon do that in college, which was fun. Nice. I was also excited because at the beginning of the game, Whitworth got some major attention, and offensive linemen never get attention.
Yeah. And it's great to shine a light on, not only like obviously at the end they win the game, and he gets his moment on TV and gets to talk about his career and what this win means to him, and I think that was a really great poetic moment for him to have to start the game off.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of fun and exciting things happening besides a thick 6.
Yeah.
And I will say the Bengals offensive line the first half looked decent. So everybody was talking trash on them. They did a pretty decent job the first half. Albeit Burrow got murdered the second half, but
yeah,
they're gonna fix that this offseason, we're gonna say.
They have that is the main issue they need to fix this offseason. I think we can underline that several times, and I think they go into the draft looking to fix that. They go into free agency looking to fix that. I mean, the entire team is so young. You've got nothing but a great future ahead for the entire team. You just have to round out this squad, and to not immediately go out and address that as soon as you can, that's doing a disservice to your quarterback.
Oh, 100%. I saw a stat today that said that he was sacked over 70 times this season. 70. 7-0.
That's too many times.
Ow.
That's a lot.
Ow.
That's so many times, and yet they still made it to the Super Bowl, and he still had an insane season. Comeback player of the year. They nearly won. They were just one Aaron Donald play away from actually being able to extend it and then take it into overtime.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Really, absolutely insane.
I kind of wondered at that last play why they didn't just go for the field goal right away, because you know that McPherson could have made it.
He could have made it. I wondered the same thing. I really did.
Why are they kicking now? Why are they throwing again? Like, I would kick here. This is your chance. You've got this, kicker with ice in his veins that's just like, give me the ball. I also loved that he walked out of the locker room and actually just like went out to watch
the halftime show.
I was like, that is such a good move. I love it. And everyone's like, you should be with your team. I'm like, he's also here for the first time and he's going to enjoy it. He has his notes. He gets like a Post-it note of notes at halftime. He's like, cool, I will take this and go watch the game, because once in a lifetime moment. Like, no judgment.
And I also was having this thought last night. Sorry, my dog is just real needy tonight.
Oh, I just love how cute he is.
He smells so bad right now. I can't deal. I was thinking about it. There are so many rookies that were on that team. How do you beat that the next year? Like, the only way you can go up is if you make it back and then win the Super Bowl. But to go your rookie season and to have a showing like that, absolutely insane.
Yeah. So many stud players that they can run it back with. But they just have to address that offensive line. And I think they make a lot of moves. Do you think that there is an offensive player that they trade away to try and get someone to help round out that offense? Because I feel like I don't want to see a Bengals team without, Tyler Boyd and Higgins and Chase together. Like, I want this cast together. Give me 10 seasons of these guys together.
That's kind of how I feel. I think that you can plug and play a couple. I wouldn't mind a couple of the offensive linemen being gone. And Spain is good. And honestly, last night I saw him play a little bit more athletic than what I thought he was capable of. So I'm just like, you need to build on that. So in the offseason, if this is what you're capable of, get out there, get your footwork done, get your reps done, because there's a lot of times where he's only beat because of his body positionment. And it's hard to say without film, but you just see these missed opportunities. And one is that offensive line doesn't make contact, which is huge. If you're not making contact first, you're beat. That's just the way it is on the offensive line. And so I think that they just need guys who can get in there and start with foundational steps, and they're going to be a lot better than what they were.
Yeah.
But I'm like, even so, everybody's heard Collinsworth trying to explain it, but what he was saying when they were overloading is you overload the left side, which everybody's like, oh, that's the weak side. Really, on the offensive line, it's the strong side is actually your weak side when they're overloading. So what happens is everybody's pulling to the left to try to protect the quarterback's blind side, which leaves your right guard and your right tackle one-on-one. Or in their case, it was basically 2-on-1, because you have somebody, Von Miller, who can drop down. You have Aaron Donald, who can wrap around, drop down. So when you have everybody else is pulling that way and you have no extra protection, you're going to get pummeled 99 out of 99 times. Like, it's just like, it's the way it is.
Sacked 70 times in a season.
Right. So that's exhausting to have to sit there and take that all game long and try to hold him. And so I think that they did a good job. I just think that, they just need some improvement.
They definitely need to improve that. I mean, they're going to take this. And I think that, I forget how the quote went, but Joe Burrow was saying that he's been trying to take notes from past veterans, which I think even the way that he had his post-game interviews just really shows how wise beyond his years he is, and how eloquent he was after the game, of just, saying like, I hear a lot of guys have said, you take this loss and you dwell on it, but I really want to also focus on what we achieved this year. We had a really great season. We got here. Like, I want to focus on what we achieved. So I loved that he had that kind of forethought to think, you know what? No, like, am I going to, be upset about this loss? Absolutely. But I also want to make sure we don't forget to celebrate the wins that we had this season. And I think that, his leadership is just going to continue to propel the Bengals forward. Like, so excited for him.
Absolutely. And I think that Houday Nation also needs to get a little pat on their back, because the support that he got, that I saw on Twitter, was amazing last night.
Yeah.
No. So
Definitely agree with you there. Okay. Any other last things you want to bring up about the Bengals before we finish up on the Rams and all of the crying videos that I think we all saw? I was very emotional watching all the Odell crying videos and all the Aaron Donald playing in the confetti videos. It was so much fun.
I cried. I cried last night. There's a Super Bowl like prop bet at the Super Bowl party that I was at. That was like Madi will cry before the first quarter, the end of the first quarter. It was like an over under, and I cried before kickoff. So I was like, it's just an emotional time for me. But then at the end, I was like, you guys just got to turn it off. Just please turn it off. I can't do anymore. I want to be able to watch this in the privacy of my own home and just cry my little heart out.
Yes, I love it.
It was so emotional. And then even I'm gonna forget his name. The player who was literally just brought in during the playoffs.
Eric Weddle.
Yes.
Came in off retirement and then, no big deal, just goes and wins a Super Bowl and then he gets to retire again.
But tears his pec and continues to play the entire game. That was early. That was within the first couple drives, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to make a movie over that. Yeah.
Oh,
he could,
sure.
well, he couldn't move his arm. And he was still out there playing. And then you see his family come out and I cried like a baby. But I was just like, somebody's going to make a movie out of that.
Absolutely.
You have to.
I mean, talk about so many storybook endings lined up for the Rams in this win. And it just, it was so good.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think McVay is going to take time off?
Take time off?
I mean, he's alluded to it, spending more time with his family.
Oh, you mean like not like stepping away from football? Not a little chance.
You don't think so?
No, he's 36. Like, just enjoy the off season. Take a real vacation because you probably haven't taken a real vacation in years. Go take a real vacation for like a month and then come back and like, yeah, no, like that was also kind of ridiculous to me. Just how many retirement storylines were in the post game. I was like, so the Rams win and the entire team is retiring? Is that what we're talking about? What? No, like that's just so tired of the retirement talk. Maybe it's because like on a personal level, I'm like, I'm 34. This is making me feel old. Like I should be retiring. Like, what are we doing here?
I will say, I think that that's something that people need to step back and look at though, is the fact that he's not the only one. There's several coaches, players who were mentally, physically exhausted by the end of the season. That extra game did a lot.
It did.
And I think that I understand that as fans, it's really great. And I understand that NFL is a business and they need to make money.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think you have to step back and look at this situation and say, okay, we have players who literally had to step away midseason for their mental health. We're having coaches saying that they are exhausted. They may need more time. I think it might come down to maybe they have a couple bye weeks a season. If you're going to add in an extra game, they're going to have to do something because we're going to see a lot more of this.
I feel like that makes more sense to do given the extended schedule is to have the double bye weeks, because when you have that first early bye week, you're just
you're gassed
by the end of the
And how many players did we have out?
So many players out. We had so many players out. I mean, so many people that were on and off the COVID list week in and week out. That was its whole thing in itself, which I don't think that we're going to be out of the woods by the time we have next season football. Just the way that things are going, it feels like it's still going to be a thing. So I think it makes more sense to do a double bye week than anything else. Just to, I mean, just as a working class, and you're any job, you always want more PTO. You want more time for yourself.
Yeah.
Let's give that to our players, for crying out loud. They're beating each other up every single week for us so that we can enjoy this game. Can we just give them an extra week?
Just some time. Just some time. Yeah. I think they're going to have to do something if they're going to continue to keep this up. Yeah. And I have a couple of friends that are in the league and they're just, I have friends that didn't even make the playoffs who are still walking around. Like the other day I was messing around with one of them on FaceTime. I was like, you look like a 90-year-old man. And he was like, my body feels like it got hit by a car. It just ran through multiple times. And I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah. But it's just like we're at this point over a month out since his last game and he can barely walk right now.
Yeah, no, these players need to be thought of more as people than just, plug in and play and just keep it going because it's just too much. And then hopefully that would also decrease the number of injuries, because I feel like you say it every year, and at least I think I say it every year. It felt like we had more injuries than last year before when you look at the entire scheme of everything. I mean, obviously it was crazy that Cam Akers comes back from the injury he had and he plays in the Super Bowl. That's insane, but that's an anomaly.
Wild.
That's not supposed to happen. Like, it's not supposed to happen like that. He needs to actually just go, and he needs to take like 3 months to go and do rehab again just to make sure that he can continue for next season. But that's the thing. We're in such a system where I'm still thinking about, okay, so what's happening next year? So if we can build in that extra break for a week for them, I think that would be huge.
It would be massive. It would be massive. And they can make it happen.
Yeah.
There's computers that can handle that scheduling. No sweat.
Yeah. I mean, just don't put me in charge of numbers, and someone else can figure it out, but it'll happen. I believe in it.
Yeah. And you have 32 teams to make money off of it. Gonna be all right, NFL. Gonna be all right.
They'll be just fine. All right. So other players that saying they're stepping away, let's look more to the future. I feel like Cooper Kupp is going to have, when you go to draft him next season, he's going to be in the top echelon, and he deserves to be in that top 5 conversation completely. But is he going to have, is this his peak season? Do we feel like it's going to taper off for next year, or do we feel like we're going to get a repeat, but like maybe a slight downturn?
I mean, he's always going to be a good player to have.
Yeah.
But this was their all-in year, right?
Yeah.
So going off of that, I think especially if you are in a league that's high stakes, be careful how much money you spend on him.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Kind of, I guess I would never advise somebody not to take Cooper Kupp ever.
No.
But I would also be careful what you're throwing out, what you're spending, what you're trading. Just be cautious.
Yes. Be cautious with what you're buying.
This was an all-in year. So
that
was the mentality that they went in.
Well, I want to bring him up just to counterpoint with Jamar Chase. I mean, obviously rookie season year, and we always feel like, okay, as a sophomore, you're going to probably really more have your feet underneath you, be able to, show out quite a bit more. How much more can we get out of Jamar Chase for his sophomore year coming into the league?
Oh, I think they will absolutely get more, because some of the crazy throws he made, it was just crazy chemistry with Burrow because they were in college together. They have that trust. They have that bond. But there were a couple of plays where you could tell he was just kind of route running because he didn't have the feel of timing, or he was kind of fooled, I will say, by some of the defensive fronts. So I think once he's able to sit back, take a year, get some film under his belt, learn some different techniques, I think that we're only going to see him improve.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that, him and T. Higgins are players that I'm definitely going to be targeting in drafts, even though I say I'm not going to do any more leagues. I actually have a draft that's going to be starting in the next couple hours. So, I can't.
It's so funny. She said this.
I can't do it.
She said it all season. All season.
I of my roster of leagues that I have, I cut 2 and then I added 1. Because why wouldn't I? It just, I can't say no.
I know. I feel you. I'm an overcommitter.
So
I had to turn down a few leagues this week. People in my DMs kind of know. Sorry about that. But
yeah,
I have no time.
Yeah.
If I don't have time to be able to take a snack or, wash my hair multiple times a week, I don't have time for another league, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more there. But yeah, any other final thoughts on this or questions that you have for me about the game?
I don't think so. What did you think about the halftime show?
I loved the halftime show.
So did I.
Gosh. I loved the pace of it. I loved the transitions. I thought that was really clean. I loved the little surprise 50 Cent pop up. That was fun. Even though I felt
hanging
bad for him
bat from
hanging upside down. I get the transition and the reason why they did it. Homage to the video and all these things. But poor guy. You could tell he was winded.
He was winded
when he started singing.
The meme that was 50 cents a full dollar now.
Yeah, he's a full dollar now. There's so many. There's one that the internet is a relentless and amazing place for all these memes. But I saw the other one where it's where you're trying to charge your phone without getting out of bed and you drop the cord. That kind of.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, done that, and I've fallen down doing it. But oh my gosh.
I will say I really was like, how's this already over? Like, that's how I felt at the end. I needed more. And I just thought that they did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. I couldn't ask for a better halftime show.
Completely.
And Mary J. Blige is still a queen.
Still a queen. Still slaying it. Loving it. I loved Eminem. I feel like he was fantastic. I loved little Anderson .Paak there on the drums. That was a fun little collab. Kendrick Lamar was fantastic. I just felt like it had so much good rhythm and pace, and it was just you were enjoying the whole thing. Like the whole thing. There was not a down moment where you're like, oh, I'm bored. Like there was.
And it wasn't too much. They had their little setup and everybody was right there. And it wasn't anything crazy or wild. It was good. And I love Dre.
I will say the only thing that was the knock was people that were at the stadium, because the whole showpiece was so one-dimensional in terms of like really featuring one side of the entire thing. That was something where my friends that were at the game, they were on the opposite side, and they're like, it's fun watching the videos now because we didn't get to see any of this before. Like they had it on like the screens and stuff, but you didn't actually get to see that opposite side in that same timing.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So that was the only downside. So maybe next time, or like a note for the Olympics, because obviously they're going to be having a lot of stuff going up at SoFi, is to do something where you can at least see through whatever stage contraption you come up with. But I felt like it was a very LA. I mean, everything of LA was there at that Super Bowl, and didn't miss a beat.
What'd you think of The Rock? I was like, are we ever going to kick this damn ball off?
I know. I was like, of course The Rock is there. He can't not be there. He's
got to be center of attention. I mean, he's doing the most. Yeah. Everybody talks about the Manning brothers, and I'm like, The Rock is right up there with them.
Oh, absolutely. They bring in The Rock to save any franchise. That's like the Hollywood go-to rule of like, do we want to do this reboot? Can we get The Rock? Okay, let's do the reboot and we'll just bring The Rock in and it'll fix it. Like, it's just their problem-solving thing for everything. So,
and now he's got his own show about when I think it's from him playing high school football all the way into college.
Yeah.
He's really doing the most. Good for him. Good for him.
Keep it up, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, just do your thing. The one thing that I think was a struggle to watch was his shirt trying to stay on his body, because as his arm was up with the mic, it just looked like,
I didn't like the pants.
Fighting.
I couldn't even focus because his pants were like, okay, do you know like when you have high-waisted pants that are like super high-waisted, but they don't fit very well, so it just looks like you got like a saggy diaper in front. It's like front junk. Yeah, that's what he had. Ooh. And it was just like, those are not doing very much for you. They're just not.
It's not a good look.
No. No. Look at me being critiqued. That's the meme where you're like, come on, and you're like eating stuff on the couch. That was me.
I love it. It's fantastic. Well, we had Albert tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us, Albert. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And guys, we'll probably be taking a couple weeks off because it is the end of the football season, and we earned it. We earned it. We worked hard this season. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and all those things, and follow us on all of the social medias. Maddie, you can follow on Twitter at Maddie Kroll. Maddie, do you have the same name on your Instagram as well?
I do. I'm making it easy for people.
You're making it easy. I make it difficult. See, my Twitter is at Samantha R. Holt, and then my Instagram is at Sam_awesome, because that's just how I roll.
You're awesome.
It's what it is because I made my Twitter account years ago, and I was like, it should just be my name, and I just did that. And then I made my Instagram, and I loved my handle on Instagram so much, I was like, oh, I should get the Twitter. Nope, taken. Oh, no.
Apparently nobody has my name, or they think it's just a bad name because it's never taken on any social media platforms. I can just be me. Which makes it super easy.
Yeah, makes it super simple. There's apparently a lot of Sam Holtz in the world. And actually, I got invited to a group chat on Instagram of a bunch of Sam Holtz. And it's like 10 different Sam Holtz, Sams and Samantha Holtz, like all of them.
Oh, are they fun?
They were fun, like when they first started the chat. And now it got quiet. But I'm like, but it was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, this is a league of Sams. This is awesome.
If there's any Maddie Krolls out there, let me know. The thing is people usually spell Maddie like Maddie, or like there's so many different ways to do Maddie, and I'm super plain. I'm dyslexic, so I had to go with the simplest amount of letters.
I love that. I appreciate it. Any final thoughts on the game before we sign off?
That's it. I'm spiraling now.
I'm tapped out. I'm gonna go eat some leftover spinach and artichoke dip for my dinner because that's the kind of level I'm like.
I'm having buffalo chicken dip for my leftover dinner.
High five! Dip dinners.
Do you want to know what? People thought that I was such a hateful hag last night. So Super Bowl parties, my buffalo chicken dip's always gone. Like I barely get any. So this year I was like, okay, I'm going to make 2 big pans, like 9 by 13 pans. So I made 2 of them. And I don't know what got onto me. I swear on my life, I did not do this on purpose. I only brought 1. Like I grabbed it and I left. I was like in a hurry and they're like, you did it on purpose. I was like, I swear I didn't, but I'm not mad at it. So I'm going to have buffalo chicken dip for like, I had it for lunch today. I'm going to have it for dinner tonight, probably for lunch and dinner tomorrow. It's going to be fine.
Hey, it's meal prep, you know, it's just efficient. That's all it is.
Efficient.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. Super nutritious too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hitting all the food groups.
Cheese. Is buffalo sauce a food group?
I think it should be. I think it's a different part of the triangle that hasn't been accounted for.
We gotta add that in there, just like a thin layer somewhere.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Look Back podcast with Sam and Madi. Please check out all the other content, seasonal and DFS tools, as well as premium access to our staff for all your fantasy sports questions over on the members only Discord right here at drrodo.com. Have a wonderful week and end to our 2021 season. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com.